All right, so this is a video to cover what is connected right now on the car. Maybe it's the wrong things, maybe I don't have the right things connected. This is where I have my DAS mounted. It is, for the most part, pretty secure. If I put force behind it, obviously I can shift it, but it's supposed to be measuring a 1.5 to a 3-degree movement, and I'm not going to get that from normal vibrations, and definitely not while the car is sitting idle doing nothing. So before I remove that, I did want to show that it is mounted, but I am going to go ahead and remove this, or I'm going to try. There we go. All right, so just to verify that I do have the DAS sensor right now, I believe, well, it's supposed to be set in 3. But let's see. So switch 1 is a 3-degree tilt, and switch 2 is a 4-inch movement, and they are both set to the on position right now. Both switched to on position, so that is 3-degree tilt, 4-inch movement. It is connected. I don't want to pull the wire all the way through, so I'm going to have to ask that you trust that this is the DAS wire, and it is plugged into the Compustar unit. This is the antenna wire. It is also attached to the vehicle, but as discussed, the alarm function, and I have not disconnected the battery yet, so I can demonstrate this, but on the Compustar remote, you can see I can press a Compustar button and the car does respond. So assume that both that the remote is programmed, the antenna is actually functioning. Obviously, the Compustar system was clicking and the car was unlocking and making noise. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery before I start playing around with any of the other wires. So battery is disconnected. And now I will proceed to go to the other wires. Please keep in mind, this is not a very pretty job because I am not done. The module was not working yet, so I have not made anything permanent. That's why there's a lot of tape everywhere. So if you're looking at this, I understand if you're an installer, you're probably going, that is really gross wiring, but it's not done, and that is why it's taped. I still have to use the car every day, so I have to do something to keep things up and out of the way. So DAS module, antenna is working. This is the high voltage harness. Another thing you might notice is that the red wire and the red and white wire are swapped on the plug. They are run to the appropriate locations for the pinout on the brain. So this red and white wire is where the red wire is supposed to be, and the red wire is supposed to be wired to directly to the battery, which it is currently wired directly to the battery. And the red wire is where the red and white wire is supposed to be, and the red and white wire is supposed to be wired to the white wire, which is the 12-volt constant on the ignition harness. So the wiring color for just these two wires is wrong. The pinout was changed. If you notice that, great. If not, then, well, I wasted my breath. But anyways, the red and white wire, or the pinout for where the red and white wire is supposed to be, is connected to the white wire on my ignition harness. The yellow wire, again, high voltage harness, is connected to white and black. Green on green, and I can't remember, but I believe, no, this one is not set by the jumper. It is not set by jumper. It is just installed there, and the ALCA required a connection to the ignition input-output. Yeah, that's the ignition wire, and the ALCA required the pink wire go to the ignition wire on the ignition harness, so the pink wire is attached to the two green wires. Black and white, sorry. White and black with the yellow. I believe this is a jumper connection for starter 2 or starter 1. I can't remember if red and white is, or if white and red is the starter 1 and white and black is starter 2, or if it's the other way around. But needless to say, green stripe white is attached and yellow is attached. I believe green stripe 1 or stripe white is jumper set, and that is the jumper configuration right there. So let's see if I can get in close enough to actually read the jumper configuration. All right, so green, white. No, I'm sorry. White is currently attached to accessory. The white jumper configuration, bottom left of the screen, is attached to the yellow accessory wire in the ignition harness right there. You can see that. Next jumper, which door control I didn't play with, but the blue wire is in the configuration for accessory 2. So blue wire is attached to blue wire, which on this harness, on my ignition harness, is also accessory. So blue and blue, right there, and the screen will not remain in focus. So blue and blue, they are connected by pinout. That's the configuration. And then I don't know if I can get the lighting right to get that last jumper configuration. You can't read the color wire. Maybe you can, green, white. It is in the second position for starter 2. So starter 2 ignition is green and white. I'm sorry for the camera, guys. I really am. So red and white is ignition 2, or starter 2, I'm sorry, and black and white is going to be starter 1. So black and white and yellow, and white and red is green and white. So by jumper configuration, this should be wired appropriately for my vehicle. Gonna plug that back in. And this is a big bundle of joy. This big blue wire got attached to the tack wire coming out of the gauges. So this is my tack wire. It is connected. And now the fun stuff. I am going to try to get these all unplugged without destroying things. All right. Again, excuse the wiring until things are done. I didn't want to get too crazy, but I will end up soldering and taping off. So this is one of the can taps right here. And what I did was I stripped a section of the shielding off of the wire. A large section, I folded it in half and I crimped a butt connector on it, and I put a spacer wire in. And, oh, that's not CAN, that should be, yeah, that is CAN, because KeySense is over here. So, the intercepts are in place, and then, I don't know, let's go harness by harness, so you can see the positions that were tapped. You will have to look at a wiring diagram if you have questions about these. But these are following the blade wiring diagrams as listed. to access the appropriate cans. And to be honest, I don't know how much of this is going to come through the camera well enough for you to really make heads or tails of it, but I guess you're going to have to trust me that I did tap the appropriate wires for the can systems. And I guess that would be the big question. Did I tap everything, or do I actually have to run with the rest of that PCM? So, is using the Blade AL chip and the ALCA module right there, is wiring those into the vehicle not enough? This gray connector, does it have to be wired in? Try to get focus. There we go. Does the gray connector have to be fully wired in and integrated, minus the odd-numbered plugs? Do they have to be wired in for the system to work, or is accessing the CAN networks enough? And I was assuming, again, and maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but I was assuming that tapping the CAN network was enough to momentarily bypass the clutch neutral safety switch. So I could be wrong on that. I hope this helps. I don't really know how well this video is going to help to demonstrate that the wiring is done. It is certainly not done, but all the wires are connected to where they were supposed to be connected according to the guide. So hopefully that helps. If not, then tell me where to go from here. If I need to go and attach all the wires for the gray harness, I will. I can do that right now. Probably take me a little while, but I can do that. So just tell me where to go from here.